Hello, good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I think we're live, but you know what? I'm not going to take it for granted. I am just going to check just to make sure that we are live. If you can just give me 2 seconds of your time, and then we can talk about what I want to share inside today's live. Now, a few days ago, I posted inside this group that I am leveling up. I'm going to take things to a whole new level. And yes, it looks like we are live. So yeah, a few days ago, I posted inside this group that I'm leveling up. I feel as though I've been holding back. I feel as though I've not been serving you guys as much as I should have been doing in order to help you step up into playing a bigger game inside your business. So it's not that we've not created some amazing results over the last 3 months. We have for clients. I just feel as though there's another level of me that can be stepping up myself, and I know that if I step up, then that's going to like encourage a lot of you guys as well, give you guys inspiration, feed you guys motivation and empowerment to also step up to play a bigger game as well. So yes, we are live. Let me know if you catch me live, hashtag live underneath. And you know what? Let me know where you're coming in from, right? Let me know where you are in the world. With us, there's a lot of different people in here from many parts of the world. So chime in, right? Let me know where you're at. Okay. So if you're catching this on replay, let me know, hashtag replay. I'm going to share something today, right? I've titled this live Economics to Growth, Wealth, and Stacking Cash. Why that? So look, I've been in business for a long time now, and I haven't done anything else. I haven't had a part-time job. I haven't had anything else that's like subsidized my living, right? And in order for me to be able to survive so long, there's certain things that I needed to do inside my business that's allowed me to create that growth, sustainability, cash flow coming in each and every month. Getting clients, whenever I want to get clients, basically, and at the price points that I want them at, so I can survive as a business owner. Now, typically what I find, and I will be sharing something, so stick around. I'm really going to be sharing something here that I only give to private clients. So there's one thing that I understood from very, 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 very early on in business is that in order for me to have that growth, right, to be able to bring money on a consistent basis, then I needed to understand that, yes, whilst I'm a coach, above and beyond being a coach, I'm a business owner. And I think that's like one of the things a lot of coaches neglect to think about, right? Because all they want to do is just serve people. And I get it, right? It's beautiful to be able to serve clients, to be able to help people have transformations, to be able to, impact the world with your gift, with your magic, with what you do, right? With your talents. It's a beautiful thing to do. But above and beyond that, we are business owners. And if we can't function as a business, if we don't know what needs to happen to grow a business, then we're never going to survive in business. So, this is one of the first things I actually teach my clients when they come to work with us inside the Six-Figure Accelerator program is that, look, I know you're a coach, right? But while you're here, whilst you're underneath my wing, right, we are running a business. We are operating a business. We are growing a business. And in order for that to happen, right, there's basic fundamentals, operations, things that we need to understand so we can make that business predictable. Because if not, right, business is not going to be predictable. Now, I know a lot of coaches, when I say to them, okay, so, they may say to me, for example, that they want to hit six figures within a set time frame, whatever that is, a set time frame. That might be a quarter, that might be, the full year. And then when I ask them, okay, so what does that look like? They have no idea what needs to happen in order to make that happen, right? So that means that they're missing out the basic fundamentals and they don't have a clear pathway. And it's not necessarily talking about strategy. Now, what we're talking about is data. is numbers. If you don't know your numbers, then you don't know what your targets are. So it's mission critical that you understand, you have clear understanding of your targets. Now, another way of like saying targets is saying KPIs. And you might have heard that terminology before, or those three letters before, but KPIs means key performing indicators. Key performing indicators. And another way of saying that is like metrics. It's understanding like the numbers, the metrics, the indicators, the things that you need to hit on a daily, weekly, monthly basis in order to make whatever you want to hit achievable. So there's no guessing game, because that is another thing that a lot of coaches do, right? They're just guessing. They're guessing. They have a dream, they have an aspirational number that they want to hit, a revenue, but they actually don't know how to make that possible. So what I'm going to share here is a spreadsheet that I have, that we give clients inside. Let me just make sure I've got the right spreadsheet open. Yes, I have. That we give clients inside the 6-Figure Accelerator program that allows them to understand what their data is. Okay. So right now, you should be able to see me still, and also now the economics of growth, economics to growth and wealth spreadsheet. Now, just stick with me, right? It might look daunting. I'm just going to enlarge this. It might look daunting. There's I know a spreadsheet scares a lot of people, and a few years ago, spreadsheets used to scare me as well. Okay, but it's simple. Stick with me, because I'm going to walk and talk you through this. I'm not going to walk and talk you through it all. I'm just going to show you the basic understanding and the principles behind this, because this really, like something as simple as this, whilst it might look a little bit daunting, something as simple as this, it shares with you data of what you need to do in order to hit your goal. Okay, so what we're going to do first, we're going to look down here. We're going to look down at the bottom. Now, what you can see on the left-hand side is Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Now, businesses throughout the year operate in Qs, right? It's the quarters, right? 12 months is split into 4 equal sections. And each section is called a quarter. So if you're, obviously I don't want to teach you to suck eggs, right? If you already know that, then that's cool. But I know a lot of people don't understand that because they don't treat their coaching business as a business. They just operate it as a service. So, a business year is split into quarters. So we've got quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, and quarter 4. Now, we're just coming out on we're at March now, right? We're back end of the first quarter of 2022. And we're now moving into the second quarter. So this is where I'm going to be focusing the attention of this example, right? So what I'm going to be doing here is jumping down to row 22, where we've got quarter 2. Now, let's say, for example, right now, this might be really aspirational. This might be really aspirational for some guys, but this is just data, right? I'm just going to input some figures in here, whether they're your figures or they're somebody else's figures, they're my figures, it doesn't matter, right? They're just figures, and the figures are just designed to give you an example of how it works. So let's say that for next quarter, right, you wanted to do 100K. Again, like I said, it might be a little bit aspirational, but let's say that that's what you want to do. So, right, whatever your target is for the second quarter of 2022, right, you input that figure there. And you can see that it's based in dollars, but you can easily change the format of the currency just simply up here, right? To whatever currency that you are in, that you operate in your part of the world. So we've got the final figure that you want to hit, the target, the KPI, right? The outcome that you want to hit out of the second quarter of 2022. Now what you'll find is that now the spreadsheet we'll actually break this down now per month. So it's saying that, okay, so if you want to hit that, then this is your monthly revenue. This is your monthly sales that you want to be targeting each and every month. Now, there's also some other figures here, right? There's also some other figures here. And I'm going to quickly explain these. So basically, this is why a lot of coaches struggle, is because they say, like, let's say that they hit that target, right, for example, and like, wow, I've made it. And they go and they start living that lifestyle of earning 33 grand a month. And they live a lavish lifestyle straight away. They spend it all. They live that lifestyle. They go max, they go buying things, go buying cars, they go buying houses, they go buying boats, they do lavish holidays, they go and burn it all basically. Thinking, well, next month I'm just going to hit it again and it's again, right? But just living like hand to mouth. And they're living out of their means. So what this is designed to do is, first of all, right, pay yourself a wage, right? Pay yourself a wage. Chances are you don't need 33 grand to live on, right? Chances are you don't need 33 grand to live on. So pay yourself a wage. So let's say that you pay yourself 5Gs, right? Example, only an example, but let's say that that's what you give yourself. Now, you might not even give yourself that. You might give yourself $3,000, whatever it is, right? But it's an example. And if you're just starting off, chances are you're not wanting to hit 100K in the next second quarter. The figure's going to be a little bit low. But, what I would suggest is that you just live to your means, right? You just live to your means and you keep building your business, because then if you follow this, then what this allows you to do is allows you to, if you just live your means and you might add, give yourself an extra $1,000 or something, because there's no point in like only surviving when you can thrive a little bit, right? So maybe you pay yourself a little bit more. So you give yourself a monthly wage. And now by you hitting that like target on that second quarter, right, you pay yourself a 25% revenue bonus, right? Boom. You give yourself a revenue bonus. But also what you're doing is you're now actually like building a war chest of cash, right? You're stacking cash for, I don't want to say a rainy day. I don't believe they should be stacking cash for a rainy day. But right, have you ever been in like a situation where you ran out of money, or been in a situation where you wanted to invest in more coaching, or you've been in a situation when you wanted to buy something, or you've been in a situation where you wanted to invest in something, you wanted to invest back in yourself, you wanted to invest back in property, or you wanted to invest into another investment, whatever it is, another business, right? What you're doing here is you're actually stacking cash, right? You're building a war chest of cash. And that's obviously come from the remaining revenue. You've paid yourself an handsome wage, you've given yourself a quarter bonus, and now you're stacking cash as well. We're running a business, right? Okay, so let's now jump up here. Does that all make sense? Let me know catching this on if catching this with me. I'm actually not inside Facebook right now, so I can't see if there's any comments or questions. But if you're liking what you see, let me know. Share some, give me some loving. Because what that does, it just actually, it bumps this up to the top, and it creates more exposure for more people to get this good stuff. So let's now jump up here, right? We're jumping up to the 8th row inside this spreadsheet. So we're moving into April. So this spreadsheet's already dictated that, okay, so in April, we're looking at like hitting this monthly revenue. So I'm just going to pop this in here. And I'm also going to pop it in here as well, because this is our target, right? So this is what we are aiming to do each and every month. So April, May, June, we've got our target in there. Now what we need to be doing is we need to be putting in, inputting in our core program price point. So whatever you're selling your program, your course, your services at, you need to pop it in here. You need to input it in here. So let's say, for example, that you're selling at $5,000. Now, let's just quickly talk about price point. Because I believe in this day and age, in the coaching industry, if you're selling anything less than $3,000 or $5,000, it's not really classed as high ticket anymore. A few years ago, 3 years ago, maybe so. But today, into this day and age, with that many people in the coaching industry, it's kind of like no longer high ticket. That's like, a price point like that is more standard, to work with a coach. So just wanted to get that out there. Now, it might seem high ticket for you if you're only selling your coaching at $60 an hour, or, maybe it's a push a couple $100 an hour. And if you're still at that point, then, I would seek help and see what you need to do in order to break free from that. So you're in a position where you can, start commanding and demanding these type of price points. But again, this is just an example, right? I could put $3,000 in there. We could put $10,000 in there, right? Whatever it is. But let's just try this example. I'm going to stick to $5,000. So this is the monthly revenue target. That's what we're selling our offer at. Now what you can see is along this row is that now the spreadsheets produce some data for us to work with. So what it's saying now is that, okay, if this is the goal, right, you need to get 7 clients. You need to get 7 new clients in this next month. 7 new clients this next month to hit this goal. So that's like units sold, right? Units sold. In order to make that happen, then you need to make sure that you're booking in 33 calls that month, right? So that's the target, that's the KPI, that's the metric, that's the thing that you need to be doing whatever you can do to generate enough leads, to invite enough people to book a call with you, to get those people in your calendar event, right? 33 calls booked in. Now we know that not all 33 people is going to show up, right? There's deadwood out there. There's people there's no shows, right? So it's like we got to estimate for that. We're going to build for that. We're going to run with that. So out of the 33 that's booked in, estimate 27 people are really going to show up, right? So you need to make sure that you hold 27 calls. That's what you needed. That's going to give you 8 a week, right? So you're going to need 8 booked in a week, but potentially 7 is going to turn up. So you want 2 booked in a day, but potentially you're going to have 1 a day, right? And these figures are really based on somebody that's good at selling, they know what they're selling, they sold it before, the selling at a good close ratio, but this is like a ballpark figure that you need to be aiming for. But it gives you the opportunity to understand, okay, so this is where I need to be aiming, right? Now, chances are that you need to perfect your selling skills, and that's fine, right? So chances are your figures might be a little bit higher, and I'm sorry, you might hear some background noise in the background. But your figure might need to be a little bit higher, but that's fine, right? You play with your figures. You can input your own figures in here, but you need to the more you do, the better you become, and you'll get down to some basic figures to what you're seeing here. But it's because you're growing the business, right? So you need to understand the metrics. Now you know what needs to happen to make it happen, and there's no guessing game. Does that make sense? So I wanted to jump in and share that with you, and you can manipulate these figures. If you do, let's say for example that in March, right? Just go on. Let's say that you did something of similar in March, and you were selling at this is like really good now, right? Let's say in March you did the same, and in April you did the same. Let's say that back end of April, you're like, okay, I've been selling what I do for $5,000 and people buying in, and I'm generating all these clients' success stories. I'm going to increase my price. So let's say for the back end of April, you did a 2-week price promo, right? Where you're increasing your price, you're promoting it to the world. And again, it's something that we help our clients do. So, you're letting your marketplace know that by May, you're actually increasing your price point of the offer. And the reason being is that, you're generating all these wins. So come May, you're still wanting to hit the same target, but let's say come May, now you've increased your price by a further $1,000. Now, we're still hitting the same target, but now we're selling it more. So you can see now the data means that we actually now need to work less. Make sense? Exciting. Good stuff, right? Good stuff. Let me know if you've got any questions around this. Let me know if you like this. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to now close down my screen. And what I'm going to say to you guys is I'm going to give that spreadsheet away for the first 7 people. For the first 7 people who want access to that spreadsheet, all you have to do underneath here is just comment #growth, and I'll send you a DM and I'll send you a direct link to where you can download that so you can start playing with that, understanding what the data is behind what you need to do in order to hit your goals. And then you know exactly what you're doing. So if you want access to that spreadsheet, it's only going to go for 7 people. #growth underneath this live, and I'll get that spreadsheet to you. So I'm going to love you and leave you. I hope that you found that useful. Again, if you caught this live, let me know #live. Got any questions around this, let me know. If you want to look at what it looks like to actually, work with us inside the 6-Figure Accelerator program, then underneath here, just #me, let me know. And I'll send you a message, I'll send you a DM, and we'll have a small conversation in Messenger. I'll ask you a few questions. And if I feel as though, you know what, we can help you, I'll invite you to a call where we can have some more conversations, questions bouncing around. And then if I feel as though what we have will help you and we can serve you and we can help you start generating those big wins so you can start hitting your goals, then we'll invite you on board to become a client of the 6-Figure Accelerator program. Until then, I'm going to love you and leave you. Again, I hope you found that useful. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you guys maybe sometime today or maybe sometime tomorrow. Speak to you soon.